Welcome to the world of Tibco Spotfire Analytics. This introduction will help you to get started using the Tibco Spotfire software application. The first question you may ask is, what is Spotfire? We all look at data in different ways. Inevitably, we see something unexpected, and naturally, we want to learn more. Spotfire is analytics software specifically designed to help you easily answer those questions as fast as possible. And it should be noted that these varied visual representations of data are not just static images. Instead, they are interactive representations of data which can be used to perform in-depth investigations, to make sense of the data, and discover unknown connections. Spotfire can also be used to build dashboard views, which quickly report the current state of the business to management or place an intuitive interactive analysis environment directly in the hands of decision makers. Spotfire can provide access to data from a wide variety of different sources. In-product predictive classification and regression modeling capabilities analyze current and historical facts to make predictions about the future. Internal statistical engines can be employed in order to enhance and supplement the visual analysis to achieve specific comparison or predictive analysis goals. The process of getting started begins with the addition of data to Tibco Spotfire. Perhaps the easiest way to obtain an impression of Spotfire software capabilities is to open a simple example. Click on this button in order to open a data example. Depending upon your browser, you can open the example directly or find the downloaded file and open it. Once the example is opened in Notepad or a similar application, you can select all of the data by pressing the Ctrl and A keys at the same time. Then copy the values by pressing the Ctrl and C keys at the same time. Since this data is now copied into your clipboard, you can return to your open session of Tibco Spotfire and select Edit Paste. Voila! You now have data loaded into Spotfire. The video will pause now and give you an opportunity to copy and paste this simple data example into Spotfire. Click the play button when you are ready to continue. It is likely that your default visualization upon the addition of new data is a bar chart. Let's change the visualization to a table so that we can evaluate the data which was opened. If you right-click in the center of the bar chart visualization, you can select Switch Visualization to Table from the resulting menu. Click the play button when you are looking at a table visualization in your Spotfire analysis session and are ready to continue. Take note of the resulting table. This simple example you have opened in Spotfire shows 18 columns of nutritional data for 50 menu items from a popular fast food restaurant. You can see that descriptive information for the data table displayed here in the status bar. You should also take note of the fact that the Filters panel contains a filter for each of the 18 columns in this data table. After you have evaluated the data, it is time to design the visual environment which suits your analysis needs. In Spotfire, analytical content is organized into pages, so we will go to the Insert menu and select New Page, and the result will be a new page which is populated with the Filters and Details on Demand panel, but no visualizations. Returning to the Insert menu, select New Visualization, and a complete list of available Spotfire visualizations is shown here. We'll insert a bar chart on this page. Notice that the resulting bar chart has selectors, which allow you to choose columns for display on the visualization. Let's evaluate the total amount of saturated fat for menu items assigned to each food type. Note that if we wanted to examine the average amount of saturated fat, we could select it from this list of aggregations. In addition to calculating an average, Spotfire offers a healthy list of aggregation options, which can be selected to define the height of each bar. Now take a moment to insert a new page and insert a bar chart in your Spotfire analysis session. Adjust the value axis to display the average saturated fat for each food type category. Click the play button when you are ready to continue. Each page in Spotfire may have more than one visualization. Let's insert a scatter plot onto this page. Assuming that we are interested in evaluating the relationship between protein and carbohydrate content for each menu item, we can change the X and Y axis selectors to carbohydrates and protein, respectively. Note that food type was automatically selected to represent by color on the visualization. If you want the bars in the bar chart to be colored by food type, you can use the Color By selector in the legend to select food type. Take a moment to insert a scatterplot in your Spotfire analysis session and configure the scatterplot axes and bar chart color as shown here. Click the play button when you are ready to continue. The filters can be used to limit data in both of these visualizations. For example, we can scroll down to the food type filter and remove beverages, breakfast, and condiments from the visualizations. If we wanted to restrict the data further, let's say to view only lower calorie menu items, we could either slide this slider to the left or double-click on the maximum value displayed and type in a specific limit, like 350, and hit the Enter key. Note that the status bar informs us that 14 rows of data remain in these visualizations. Take a moment to filter the data in your Spotfire analysis session in order to isolate the same 14 rows of data shown here. Click the play button when you are ready to continue. In addition to limiting data, you can also drill down to get additional information from visualizations. For example, if we mouse over a bar in the bar chart, a tooltip information box appears, which displays the calculated average saturated fat value reflected by the height of that bar. If we click on the bar for the category sides, the color for the other bars dim, indicating that the food items in the sides category have been marked. The number of rows of marked data is displayed in the status bar, and the data from the underlying data table is displayed in the Details on Demand panel. Thus, we can now see the menu items associated with the sides category and scroll to view the data associated with each of those menu items. Note that the scatter plot also shows marked data. This allows us to easily relate the marked data across the two visualizations. Note, though, that marking is a transient interactive feature. If we click on a single marker in the scatter plot, it will change the marked data subset to that single row of data. In addition to clicking on a visualization element, we can also click and drag a rectangle to capture marked data. For example, if we mark the high protein items in the scatter plot, we can see those 5 food items displayed in the Details on Demand panel. In addition, we can see that none of those food items are members of the dessert category. If you wish to clear the existing marking and return the vivid coloring to all elements of the visualizations, it is as easy as clicking where there is nothing, and nothing will be marked. If you wish to reset the filters such that all data is returned to the visualizations, go to Edit, Reset All Filters. Again, it is time to return to your Spotfire example and mark data as you just saw in the demonstration. In fact, feel free to interact with the data by playing with other filtering and marking settings too. For example, identify food items which have lower sugar content and provide higher calcium amounts. Then drill down to get detailed information about those items. This ability to interact dynamically with the data is one of the key capabilities of Tibco Spotfire. Click the play button when you are ready to continue. Tibco Spotfire contains rich possibilities of using drag and drop operations for customizing visualizations. You can drag filters from the Filters panel to drop targets in the middle of visualizations. For example, let's locate the food type filter, then drag and drop it onto the panel trellis axis target. Now we have a panel for each of the food types showing protein versus carbohydrates. We can make the markers a little bigger by going to the Scatter Plot Properties dialog, Size section, and using this slider to increase the markers. Let's also drag and drop calories to the color by target in the scatter plot. Since this column of data is numerical, the color by property defaults to a gradient mode. We can return to the Scatter Plot Properties dialog, Colors section, and add a point which we will define as the average and change the color to yellow. This brings another dimension to our scatter plot. The video will pause while you interact with your Spotfire analysis session using drag and drop from the Filters panel. Click the play button when you are ready to continue. Details visualizations can be used to set up analyses where you can drill down into your data in multiple steps. In a details visualization, what is shown depends on what is marked in one or more other visualizations. In contrast to the Details on Demand, which is always a table, the details visualization can be any type of visualization, and it can be placed anywhere within the page, just like any other visualization. To create a details visualization, right-click on the bar chart, select Create Details Visualization, and choose Bar Chart. Initially, the new bar chart will be empty because it is dependent on the data marked in the master visualization. Let's switch the category axis to Menu Item, and the value axis to calories aggregated as a sum. We will choose the desserts food type in the master visualization, and the details visualization will populate with menu items from that category. The visualizations are looking a little cramped. Let's use a drag and drop approach to change the layout. We'll switch the bar chart and the scatter plot, then move the details visualization bar chart next to the scatter plot. Let's also change the labels on this bar chart from horizontal to vertical by right-clicking on the labels and hide the legend. Now we can draw a rectangle and mark the tall bars in the master visualization. Then right-click, select Marked Rows, and invert our selection to drill into the food types with the least amount of saturated fats. The video will pause this last time for you to return to your Spotfire example and create a details visualization as you just saw in this demonstration. Click the play button when you are ready to continue. Obviously, you're probably not interested in analyzing nutritional data for fast food items, but hopefully it has served as a simple example for getting started with Spotfire. The heart of Spotfire's capabilities is to take that data and represent it in a variety of visualization types. Spotfire combines interactive visual analytics with computational capabilities. These computational tools work to support and enhance the visual interface to result in robust analyses, which facilitate informed decision-making. While you may use Tibco Spotfire for your own analysis endpoints, once you design an analysis, you can export visualizations to PowerPoint, as an image file, or as a PDF. You can also create bookmarks which point to specific stages in this dynamic analytical environment. Thank you for watching this video demonstration. To learn more about Tibco Spotfire Analytics, please access our free training at learn.spotfire.tibco.com and click on the Free Courses tab.